share the screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So we were studying, or we were watching how to make drawer. So you can either drag from the left, it will come, or you can press the menu icon, it will appear. Okay. So let's make it smaller, nicer. Now, so we were saying how we made the drawer. So we put it under or inside safe area. Safe area, inside safe area, we put a drawer, and the child of drawer is a scroll bar. Now, scroll bar, we talked about some properties of scroll bar. Now the child of scroll bar is a container. Child of scroll bar is a container. This is a container, and the container, we gave him a decoration property. In the last class, we saw the property decoration. You can give him like the box color, the you can make it like rounded and so on. So we gave him a color like gray color. Gray 200 means like if you put it there, it will show you the levels. So here, the different levels of the color. Like the higher the version here, the darker it is. Yeah. See here, gray 900 is like this, gray 50 is like this. So if you make it 50, it will be close to white. And if you make it 900, it will be close to black. See here. So we say 100. Okay. Now this is the container, but normally container is just a container of widgets. So how can we show this list? How can we show this list of options? Okay, list of options. So we may have settings, we have downloads, we may have, for example, share. So let's share. There is some share. So we have share. We may have contact us. Say email, like this. So you can have different options, and when people will click it, something will happen. Something will happen. We will show you how to do it. So we have these things. Okay, let's remove from here. So we have a few things. Now how to show a list of options? How to show a list of options? How can we show them? So we have four options here. So how can we show? So to show a list, you can use a widget called list view. You can see here, list view creates a scrollable linear array of widgets from an explicit list. So you give him a list of widgets, and it will show them in a scrollable linear array. Like it's a scrollable, you can scroll, and it's a linear. Linear means it goes either horizontally or vertically, and it needs an input called children. It needs an input, the children, like this, which contains a number of items, Okay. Now list view has a different parameters. You can remove it, no problem. Actually, there is no need for here because we are giving him 0. So it has a property controller. This controller should be same as this controller. If the app in the same screen you have multiple scrollers, multiple scroll bars, then if you don't give explicit controller, Flutter will give you exception. But because we have only one scroll bar here in this screen, so you can skip it. So that's why I kept it in the comment. Okay. Now in the list view, he will create a list from his children. So from his children, so we have to give him a list of widgets, and list of widgets come in, we saw before, in a square bracket. So it's empty. So now if you don't give, it's empty, he will not draw anything. So if you give him text hello, hello world, he will bring hello world. So whatever the list is, he will make it as a linear list of items. But a good way to give different items in list view is to use list tile. List tile is another widget. You can see here, list tile also has a lot of parameters. List tile is a widget, is a very useful widget when you want to show a list of items, because list tile has lot of options. You can add icons, like if you bring the mouse over here, so it takes a leading widget. Leading widget means, like here what you will show him, like see here, we used title. Title means this text. Leading means the icon before the text. There is also trailing. Here also we can give an icon. To give icon, you need to use icon class. Icon class takes icons. For example, settings. There are settings. Otherwise, like so here, see here. This is trailing. So for example, if you want to say that navigate next, so you are telling him that click here. So this is the leading. Leading means before the title, and this is the trailing, after the title. Now the title, it doesn't need to be a text. It can be a widget. The title can be, you can bring anything here. So that's why it's good to use list style, because it gives you like a lot of things. But one of the very useful thing, because when you click him, you need to do something, right? You need to do something. So there is an option called, if you bring cursor over here, there's an option called on tap. See here, there's an option called on tap. So this parameter on tap, it takes what? It takes a function. This function will be called, it's a void function. This function will be called when you press this list tile. So we say this is an empty function. We can write it like this way and say print we will go to settings page. So if you see now, if we go to our run, okay, oh, run, see here, click here, see here, it shows the string, because when you tap it will call this function. So you need to do something. When the user will tap it, you need to do something. Similarly, we made another list style for download, another list style for share, and so on. So based on your application, you can add more. Normally at the top of it we can add another container to put it here, for example our username and password and so on. So this is also possible. Okay, so for example, if we add another one, suppose to close it, close. So when you click the close, it will close the drawer. So how can you do it? We will talk about it inshallah in maybe today's class. Yes, we have time to do navigation. Yes, navigation inshallah we'll try to do. So navigator is a very important concept to go from one screen to another screen. So navigator, so it's a system-wide class provided by Flutter, navigator class. So you can call the pop function and give him the current context. This context is coming from this context. So it's a kind of global variable for this class. So for example, if you run it now, if you close it, it will remove it. See here, it will come, it will close it. So it's pop means it will remove it. It will remove and go back to the previous screen. Actually for drawer you don't need, you can click outside and it will go, but we made it by programmatically. It will close it, it will close it, but for him we need to do something. Are you getting what I am saying?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Which part?
When I take the drawer out, it will close it automatically.
Oh, okay. So look at the code. This is what? This whole thing is a list style, right? We said it's a list style. Is a widget called list style, which has a title. This text is coming as a title. The leading icon is coming as a parameter called leading, and it has a parameter called on tap. You can see here on tap. There is also long press also. So when we give a function to it, it will be called every time you click it. Every time you tap the list style, it will be called. So what we are doing in that function, navigator.pop, and in the bracket as a parameter context. There is also push. We are going to see it, inshallah, today. We'll see how push works. Okay. So navigator.pop means he will pop or he will remove the current UI, current screen. So if you click it, it removes the drawer. But it's an overkill in the sense that you don't need to write a close to close it. Actually, by default, if you tap anywhere outside, it will close the drawer. But just I wanted to show you.
So I don't need to program that in the code that if I tap anywhere else, it will close.
No. By default, Flutter will handle it.
Ah, okay.
Can we swap it to the left?
Can we swap it to the left?
Swipe, I mean.
From, like, you want to come from here?
Yeah, just touch the drawer to the left side.
So you want to bring it on the other side, right?
Not bring it, just hide it with your finger.
Yes, like this.
Do you have
See
to
here?
add it? Or?
No. This is automatic. This is part of this drawer class. You know, the drawer class, this drawer, part of it. So it will automatically come. This gesture, we call it gesture. It will automatically come with this drawer class. We'll talk about gesture maybe in the next week class. Gesture detector. It's a very important concept called gesture detector. How to detect different types of gestures. Gestures means like swipe, zoom, drag up, drag down, like these things. How can we handle them? But many widgets automatically handles those gestures or those interactions. For example, drawer, like if you drag him, it closes. When you drag this way, it will open. If you click outside, it will close. If you click here, it will come with an animation. See, it comes like you are opening a drawer. That's why it's called drawer. Like you are opening a drawer, like slowly, you open it. So that's why it's called drawer. Like a drawer we have in our table, in our desk. So similar, like they have a drawer. Okay. Any questions so far from what we have covered?
I have a question about the code.
Yes.
Can I create a project without the comments?
Without comments?
Yeah.
Yeah, remove the comments. At the beginning, if it gives some comments, remove them. No problem.
Because I found difficult to understand the syntax.
You mean these comments, right?
Not really. It's the way how the code is organized. It's not
Yes.
understandable to me at the beginning.
It's difficult to you?
Yeah.
Actually, at the beginning, it looks a little complicated.
Because like it's not so tidy or clear to see.
It's not clear to see. Yeah, it might.
So I can understand the classes, but not the way how it's organized.
Yes, it might look at the beginning, but if you practice a little bit, it will look easier. And there is like an automatic reformat code with Dart format. So if you click it, it will rearrange the code. For example, if you write it this way and then you say reformat, it will automatically rearrange the code for better visibility. But because of the way it works, like you are telling Flutter the exact components That's why it looks container, inside is the list view, inside is a list style, inside is a text, inside is an icon. So it looks like a tree. But once you are used to it, it's actually very nice, because you can visualize in your brain and you can code it exactly like this. In some programming languages, you can draw the UI by drag and drop and add it to the code. For example, in traditional Android programming with Java, you can draw your views. They call it view. You can create the views by drag and drop. But I found this one is more controllable. I know exactly how much space, and Flutter arranges it very well, very well. But there are some limitations, which inshallah will go out when we have more updates in Flutter. But for most cases, they do very good. They do very good. Any other questions before we move to the next very important topic?
I think
Something
it's clear.
not clear? Okay, no questions. So today we will see one more very important concept, which is how to go to another screen and then come back to the previous screen. How to do this? How to do that? Because in any apps, if you click or tap a button or something, it takes you another screen. You can press a back button to go back to the previous screen. So this is fundamental to any programming, any mobile programming. So how can you do that in Flutter? Again, it's very simple. Definitely, if you know it. So, for example, we said that if you click settings, it will call this function. Now, what we want to do it, we don't want to just print a message, because what is the benefit of just printing a message? User will not see it even. So we want to go to the settings page and show some settings for the app. So you need to, when you click on this settings icon or settings style, we need to move to a new screen. So how can we do that? Okay, so to do that, let's create another Dart file which will contain our settings UI. Okay, so we can create a Dart file by clicking right click on the lib on the project structure. You can right click lib and you can create new. You can create a Dart file. You can create a Dart file. See here, there is a Dart file. So we say, give the name of the file, settings view. So it will create an empty Dart file. Okay. Now we want to remember, every screen should be either a stateless widget or a stateful widget. Stateless widget or a stateful widget. Stateless is okay if you don't change the values inside the class, then stateless is okay. But if you are changing values based on some click something, then you need to go for a stateful widget. So what we will do is, to show you the concept, let's copy the stateless widget we have. Okay, so let's copy it. paste it. So it needs to import the, okay, so we need to change it. So we need to rename the class, say settings view refactor. Okay, so this is a stateless widget. So let's zoom it a little bit. Okay, and no need to return him material app, because material app you need only at the beginning from the main. But when you go to a screen, actually you don't need to return material app. You need to return a scaffold. So we returned a scaffold here. We returned a scaffold here. So let's copy it. So we return the scaffold. Needs material.dart. So we import material.dart, and this Cupertino is actually not needed. So there is an app bar. So let's give him a title that it's called settings. Settings. Okay, it's a constant. Okay, no need for drawer here. No need for drawer here. Okay, and what should we show him? We'll show inside a safe area. So what should we show? For example, at the center, we'll show him settings. Sorry, to show him a child, a text, says settings, options will come here. Okay, so we can make it constant, because there is everything is constant. Okay, so this is our stateless widget. It will make an screen. It will make a screen with a title called app settings. Okay, and we don't need to make it red. Let's make it like okay. We'll change it later on. Now this is a screen which will show at the center of the screen this text. So we made a screen. We made a view. Now we want to show this screen. We want to show this screen when you click settings. When you click settings, how can we do it? So let's go back to our main and go back to the list style where we have the settings. Okay, so we came here. Now, when you click settings, you will come in this position. And from here, we need to show that screen, the setting screen, which is a class. How can we do it? To do it, actually, you need to use navigation. Navigation or the navigator class. So I will copy from my old code the navigation. Okay. Okay. So now if we restart it, click it, it will go to the settings and you can come back. You can go, come back, go. So let's make it, suppose, blue. Oh, doesn't look very clear. White. How white looks much better. Okay. So you can come back. See here, magic. So what we have done is what, when you tap this style, we come here. Now here we want to show a new screen. What is the screen? That is settings view, which is a stateless widget, our own widget. It's our own widget. Now how to push it is because the application, what it does, every time you go to a new screen, it makes a stack. Those who are from computer science background, you know the stack, right? The stack data structure, the stack, right? Do you remember the stack?
Yes.
Okay. So every time you show a new screen, you go to a new screen, the framework, what it will do, it will push the new screen on top of the old screen. You can view it like this. It doesn't mean that it's drawing everything behind. No, it's just remembering who is on the top of the stack, and he will only show it. So if you want to show a new screen, you need to use a push method, and which is part of the navigator class. So navigator.push. Now actually there are several ways of pushing, so we are using one of them. There are actually different ways of pushing with different properties. So navigator class, if you go, it's a big class. It has a lot of functions. There are different ways of pushing. We are doing one of the most basic one. So navigator.push, this is a function which is part of the navigator class. So it takes what? It takes a context. It takes a context, which is the current context we are giving it, and it's taking a material page route. Material page route means, we say, it's like the new page. You are going to a new screen and you are routing to it. So because the Flutter needs to remember from which screen you came to which screen, so it needs to make this like save this information. So it's keeping this information in routing, page routing, and you are telling him that builder is the parameter. You are telling him that, okay, take this class with a new context and build it. So something like this. So if some information is not clear, don't worry, just copy paste the code and replace the new class here. Every time you just copy paste the code and put the new class here. So the result is, if you click on the settings, it will go and build that view, and it will automatically add the back button. You can either go like this, or you can click this. Go, come back, go, come back, go, come back, go, come back. Is it clear?
Yes.
Good. Any question from this concept? See, we are learning a lot of things. So if you practice, inshallah, things will be under control. Otherwise, after 2-3 more classes, things will go out of our control. So you have to practice. If you really want to develop applications, there is no exception or no options other than practicing what we have learned. Clear? Things are clear, or you have some comments, issues? No question?
No, for me, there's no question.
Any questions from others?
Very clear.
Yes. Any question?
Maybe like as an extra question from me, but when I use some apps on my smartphone, when I go to a page, like let's say just the page you created settings, sometimes it buffers or loads or have a, what causes this issue sometimes in the program?
Oh, like it makes like a waiting, like
Yes, some apps works fine, but other apps keeps buffering, keeps loading, you know, when I go from page to page. What causes this?
like we can make it. It's when they do it, actually it's called okay, let's show you. It's called circular progress indicator. See, let's make it at a center. Something like this, right?
Yes, that's the icon, but I mean it really buffers. It's loading something. It shouldn't take that long, but it's taking long than it should.
Yeah, it happens because the app is downloading some data over the internet.
Ah, okay.
Over the internet, and when the download is finished, then it refreshes and shows the content.
Okay.
So there is a way to do it. Actually, I did it many times. For example, suppose you are showing here the list of usernames. Suppose now the usernames are in the database, so you need to get them, and then when the list is ready, then you will show. So by the time it's not ready, you will show a progress bar like this, and when it is ready, it will clear up. So there is a way to do it.
Sorry, but as a mobile developer, I need to deal with a lot of data.
Yes.
I need data science basically.
Yes.
But what makes a data scientist and what makes a mobile developer? Because basically, mobile developer deals with data as if he was a data scientist. So, what differentiate the two?
Okay, that's an interesting question. Actually, data scientists, they work, you can say, offline or on the background or in the server. The apps, most of the apps actually just takes the data from the server and displays the information on the screen. So the data scientists, what they do is they write programs that takes a lot of data, and from those data they generate information, new information. For example, if we consider Twitter, there is a Twitter app. So the people who develop the Twitter app, what they do, they contact the background server, send the username and password of the logged in user, and the server sends him the tweets. And the app builds a list view, like what we build a list view, like here.
Yes.
Like here we made a list view. They make, instead of this simple list, they replace this each list style with a tweet with different components. So they make a list view, infinite scroll, like it's called in Flutter, we call it stream. They actually they build a stream. Stream means it will always, it will continue coming. So that's why when you drag down, drag down, it will continue to come. So this is the job of the programmer. Now, in the Twitter company, or like in Facebook or Amazon or Google, inside the company, there are data scientists, there are computer scientists. What they do, they write different programs which are independent from the app. Maybe with C++, maybe with Python. These are common. So they write programs which take millions of tweets and filters them based on your interest. And they are doing it for millions of users. So it's like terabytes of data. That's why there are only one or two companies who can do it, because it's not like small thing. You need billions. That's why Elon Musk offered like 50 billion, right? Something 50 billion to buy Twitter, because it needs a lot of resources to establish this background. We as a simple programmer, we cannot establish a Twitter-like application. So a data scientist can be a programmer, or they may be separated. So normally data science happens offline, or even if it happens online, it happens in a very powerful servers, because you are dealing with millions and millions of tweets. Every day you are getting millions of tweets, and every time you open your Twitter or Facebook or other social media, it gives you new feeds based on your interest. Like also similar like Google Ads. So they analyze the search history, the usage history, and then suggest the appropriate ad. So this is data science. Yes. But the normal programmer, they have nothing to do with data science. They will send an HTTP request to server. The server will send him the tweets, and he will display it.
Okay.
Does it answer your question?
Yes, yes.
So if you ask my opinion, which one is better? Definitely, if you have option to become data scientist or computer scientist, that's better. That is better. because if you just become a developer, there is less options to do. It's like sort of boring things. So personally, I don't develop, for example, I don't develop for any applications. I became a Flutter developer only to develop for Quran. But if you ask me professionally to develop for e-commerce company, I will not do it. Although I can do it, but I prefer not to do it, because my goal to learn Flutter was to develop for Quran applications. We had developed it first in Java, but we faced some trouble because we need to develop also for iOS. So someone recommended that why don't you use Flutter? So we moved to Flutter, learned Flutter, and redeveloped the whole thing. We wrote the code 2 times. The whole code was rewritten in Flutter. So this is what like I prefer, but it doesn't mean that it is like suitable for everyone. So you may very well become a application developer, and someone else may become a data scientist. Okay. Any other question before we close up? Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, Omar.
Just thank you. Jazakallah khair.
Wa iyyakum. So inshallah, we will meet again on Monday, and I am hoping that every one of you will, by that time, will practice everything. We have actually learned a lot. We are going at a quite speed. I saw the initial topics. Actually, we already covered a lot of them. So we will go more than what was written in the initial topics, inshallah. So, but if you practice them, it will come in your grip. So, inshallah, on Monday, I will request each of you to share your screen one by one and show us like what you have developed. And a good way is either you develop whatever I did in the classes, but also you can develop your own screen based on what you have learned. That will be also great. So until then, inshallah, we'll stop and see you inshallah on Monday.